Hello and welcome to this week's Capping Corner. We are going to talk about the Preakness Stakes on Saturday at Pimlico, and of course the favorite is going to be Epicenter. He's 6-5 on the morning line, and we're going to talk about him. He's drawn well in post 8. He could either stalk, he could press the pace. He was second in the Kentucky Derby. What do you think about Epicenter's trip in the Kentucky Derby?
That was a really extremely good effort in the Kentucky Derby. He was the only horse that was forward placed that survived that crazy pace scenario. But my concern is that was a really hard effort, and he's coming back too quickly. Just 15 days rest, and the speed figure he has been running a bit par speed figures, so I can see too much improve in this horse. I think he hasn't have too much edge. He's a really good horse, but there are some another horses with similar speed figures with better value.
Well, I'm just going to ignore the speed figures in this situation. I mean, they are made by humans, so they aren't always right. And usually, the speed horses who do well in the Kentucky Derby, they perform well in the Preakness. So I think I'm just gonna pick him anyway because he's gonna fall right behind early voting in our Magnac. So to me, it'll be a perfect trip.
Okay, I'm not sure our Magnac is going to take the lead in this spot. This is another speed he's facing.
You think they're gonna hold our Magnac back?
Not to back, probably placed, but not he's not going to be sent like he did last time out in Santa Anita.
Let's talk about early voting, who's going to be on the lead. And he won this way in the Winter Stakes. He won by 4.5 lengths. He also was second in the Wood Memorial to a good horse in Mo Donegal. He only lost by a neck. So, what do you think about early voting? Can he go all the way?
Early voting is a Nidalee type horse, and last time out he was a kind of uncontested lead, and the pace was a bit slow for the distance. And despite this, Mo Donegal was able to beat him. This time, I think the pace would be a bit faster. For example, simplification, he drew the rail, and I think he will be forced to show speed. Simplification is a horse that can run on the lead, can stalk, but with this position, I think he's going to be sent. And I expect a kind of pace duel with early voting.
It does kind of worry me that early voting had a perfect trip in the Wood Memorial and he still lost anyway. He should have finished the race off. Let's talk about the filly, Secret Oath. She's in post 4, 9-2 on the morning line. And she was third in the Arkansas Derby, but then she won the Kentucky Oaks. Now, if I just follow the Kentucky Oaks speed figure, she got a 116 on Timeform US. She could compete in this race, but I don't know. The third in the Arkansas Derby bothers me. What do you think of Secret Oath?
Now drawing a line to the Arkansas Derby. In that race, she had a nightmare trip, a very bad trip. He was wide all the race, and the jockey made an early move that was impossible to sustain that rush for in the stretch. And in the Kentucky Oaks, she improved a lot. She indeed the Kentucky Oaks was her first race with triple digits according to Preakness speed figures. I know she had a perfect trip in that race, but I think could be the same situation. There will be speed in the race, and he drew very well, and would be able to stalk or to run behind the speed. I think she will be very tough in this race.
You're not concerned about the value and the fact that she's very popular and she could go lower than 9-2. What do you think?
Yeah, she could be second choice at the end or probably third choice. But it is what it is. I think the field is talented, and I expect around 5-2 or 3-1 with this filly.
Let's talk about simplification. Who you liked before the post draw, but it seems that the rail kind of bothers you for this horse. He was fourth in the Kentucky Derby. He took advantage of the pace situation, obviously, and he was also third in the Florida Derby after putting the pressure on Classic Causeway. What do you think of simplification?
I like a simplification a bit before the draw. Now with post position 1, I think this horse with John Velasquez, he will show more speed and he could be in a kind of pace duel with early voting. Watching the speed figures, this horse hasn't been able to record triple digits at 3 years old. His best race indeed was the Mucho Man Stakes. Then he won that race gate to wire and recorded a 99 speed figure, but that was 1/4 mile. In the Florida Derby, he showed speed, but that got tired a bit in the stretch. It was third. That's my concern. I think this horse is a bit better stuck in the pace. But with this post position, I think he would be forced to try to show more early speed.
You might have a point there. I'm not going to pick him to win, but it depends on the pace, but he might have a chance to hold on for third or fourth.
Yes, I agree with that. I think that's a horse to use underneath, but not to win.
We have to move on to Creative Minister, who's in post 2. And this colt is trained by Ken McPeak, who has not been too successful on the Derby Trail, but Creative Minister is improving. He won an allowance race at Churchill Downs by 2 3/4 lengths in his last start. It was a career high speed figure on Timeform US. And he also won on the slop at Keeneland. What do you think of Creative Minister?
Creative Minister is a talented horse, lightly raced, and in his last race he recorded a best speed figure, with best career speed figure with triple digits according to Brisnet. He recorded 101, and it's in the distance. It's not an issue with this horse, and this is a horse that has still has some room of improvement, and I think he's going to run well. I'm using him in my place.
I'm using him too if I do a trifecta. I think even though his speed figures are kind of light, he could move forward, and he does seem to be improving for Ken McPeak. They did supplement this horse into the race for what $150,000. I could be wrong about that figure, but it just shows the connections have confidence. We have to move on. How about Skippy Longstocking? He was an even third in the Wood Memorial.
This is an interesting horse. I think he will run in the middle of the pack and he could pass some tiring horses. I can see him winning the race, but he could hit the superfecta.
Right, I agree. I think Skippy Longstocking, if you want a 20-1, 31 shot in your trifecta or superfecta, he could hit third or fourth. Okay, we have to close it out. My pick is Epicenter, and if you're doing a multi-race wager, I would just say to single Epicenter. I wouldn't mess around with the other horses, but if you're doing a trifecta, my trifecta is going to have simplification, creative minister, and early voting in the second spot. And maybe I can get more creative with the third spot. Maybe Secret Oath and Skippy Longstocking could be added. How about you?
Okay, I'm going with the filly. I think Circuit All still can improve and she will have a really perfect trip again. So I like her to win, but I preferably use playing a trifecta with Secret Oath on top. And underneath, I will use Creative Minister, Simplification, and Skippy Longstockings.
All right, then. We're just going to wait until the Belmont Stakes, which is in 3 weeks. Good luck with your best this weekend.
Good luck to everybody.